For this part of the episode, we want to take things back to the show's beginning.
Welcome to the first episode of the RNL show.
The Revolution Nothing Less show, or RNL show in short, was launched 6 months ago as part of the National Revolution Tour in Los Angeles, and in collaboration with the website and paper revcom.us. We started this project knowing it would be a challenge, and we had hopes of reaching a new audience with the revolutionary theory and leadership of Bob Avakian, who's developed a new communism and a whole vision of a better world that's actually possible through making revolution and nothing less. We were determined to make the scientific method concentrated in the new communism accessible as a tool for people to understand the world and solve some of the biggest problems confronting people in the world today. We saw a need to contribute to putting actual revolution on the map through a new form, with videos, discussions, interviews, and being in the thick of protests and social phenomena, using YouTube as our platform. Through challenging how people think, with the new communism as a foundation, bringing to light a new way to fight and end the deep forms of oppression and injustice stitched into society today, giving a real-time analysis of different events in the world, and drawing where the interests of humanity are, pointing to the all-too-common ways of thinking that run counter to those interests, and pointing to ways we can change that situation. We were out to provoke, challenge, and inspire everyone who watches the show, introducing people to new ideas that bust through the lie that there is no alternative, and showing that a better world is possible. And when I say we can change the situation, I don't just mean the hosts of the show and the people behind the camera or people editing the show right now. I'm also talking about all of you who are watching and sharing the show and commenting. All of us together have been able to get this far because you have contributed funds, and together we have contributed our time, thinking, energy, and skills to making this real. To sustain the show and get it in front of tens of thousands at this time when millions are asking big questions about the world, and grow the team that is needed to meet this demand, it takes thousands of dollars. The very first sustainers on Patreon made it possible to get this started. The very first audience members took it upon themselves to advertise in local papers and shared the first promo video on email lists. Some of you came forward to create content and edit for the show. Some of you designed palm cards, stickers, and graphics for the show, and all this made a difference. When you contribute in these kinds of ways, you aren't just sustaining the show, you are sustaining a whole revolutionary movement and making it possible to reach even greater numbers of people. With this rapidly changing situation, we are all needed to work together to scale up the show so humanity can rise to meet the challenges before us. Contribute to the growth of the show and donate today at revcom.us or become a Patreon at patreon.com/therevcoms and join the team working together on this show. If you are interested in joining the crew, we will work with you on how you can contribute in a meaningful way to this. So write us at therevcoms@gmail.com. So much has happened since we first walked through that garage door. We started as a group of revolutionaries of varying ages, backgrounds, with little experience on how to start a YouTube show, but with a lot of heart and standing shoulder to shoulder with the movement that has a lot to say about what's going on in the world, and a lot of ideas on how to bring the revolution to new audiences. Then COVID hit and presented new challenges, and we pushed through to deliver hard-hitting content. In our very first episode, we brought together the science of COVID-19 as we understood it at that time through an interview with the Dr. Philip Rice. And we captured the importance of wearing a mask weeks before any major news network brought this out.
The masks are the primary mechanism by which you're going to prevent the virus getting into you.
Every day, we thought of ways we could contribute to people's understanding of what was going on and help them see the need to actively work towards revolution and challenging the norms. Through this, we saw the need for science, an evidence-based process, and not conspiracy as a big issue that needed to be spoken to.
Science, when it's done the way it's supposed to be, simply means learning about reality and changing it by investigating it, accumulating evidence by interacting with reality, identifying the patterns in reality, and then moving to change it on that basis. That's all science is, not something more mysterious or frightening.
And we developed segments and did interviews with a range of guests working on this, keeping in mind that Bob Avakian had pointed to in revcom.us about the distrust of science in some communities, and thinking of ways to break that divide and bring science and revolution to people, especially those who we knew would be hit hardest: Black people, Latinos, and Native Americans. All this we did in tandem with the work of the Revolution Tour through the communique that we have featured on this channel, and through making short videos like the 5 things we would do different in a revolutionary society.
Coronavirus itself is a natural phenomenon, but how it's being dealt with is completely intertwined with the system we live under: capitalism, imperialism. Here are 5 things we'd do better in a revolutionary socialist society.
We knew that we needed more voices coming on the show, interacting with what's going on and helping people to get a deeper connection of what's going on in the world, embracing and drawing out some of the wide variety of what they understand and adding to what makes this revolution we are working on so beautiful. Artists, doctors, revolutionaries, actors, writers, musicians.
We got to Nixonize this dudes.
And everyday people. All those who care about the world and humanity needed to be on this channel and part of the show that's out to changing the world. So we reached out to all kinds of people to speak on the show, sharing their stories and research and insights on different things happening in society. As I said in the beginning, this show is put together in collaboration with the website revcom.us. And on that website, there's an incredible series that brings alive the true history of this country called American Crime. So far, the filmmaker and director, David Zeiger, has been working with us to bring this on the show, bringing these pieces alive vividly and getting them to a bigger audience.
What was the site of the biggest race riot in the history of this country?
Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
That's right, the great state of Oklahoma.
We want to invite more of you who are watching now to help with this series, researching footage, editing, contributing music, and more. So write to us at therevcoms@gmail.com. Earlier this year, Ahmaud Arbery was murdered by racist vigilantes, and Breonna Taylor was murdered by the police in her own home. Then those cops put their knee on the neck of George Floyd. This was the last straw for many, and people all over the country stood up, determined to put an end to murder by police and deeply questioning white supremacy in America, wanting to see an end to it. Protesting in the thousands, then tens of thousands, with fierce determination, and sparking a beautiful uprising of people here and all over the world. We had to rise to the occasion, so we sent Sansara and a team of RevComs to Minneapolis to join the protests.
It is not easy to defeat them. It is not easy. So we have to get organized. We have to take up the tools of the science of revolution. And there is a leader telling you, sisters and brothers, you have not heard about him because they don't want you to know about him. This is Bob Avakian, and you need to find out about him.
We produced short videos from Bob Avakian, who was giving much needed leadership in his statement, Nothing Less, speaking directly to those people rising up.
This is Bob Avakian speaking. To all those who have risen up so powerfully and are demonstrating to say, no more.
This took funds to get the plane tickets, lodging, materials, food, gas, hand sanitizer, and mask to abide by COVID precautions, etc. This takes thousands of dollars, and we want to do a lot more of this. Think about the difference it would make if we were out in Oregon right now, interviewing migrant workers or climate activists, scientists, documenting some of what's going on with the effects of the wildfires, or if we could sponsor volunteers in different parts of the country to come and report on what's going on and make a segment like this now. We've learned a lot working on this show, and we've accomplished a lot. We've experimented with new ways of spreading Bob Avakian's work to new audiences, including a new audio series and podcast called Emancipate Humanity with Bob Avakian that's on the channel. We have learned new ways to structure episodes that have clear themes and include commentaries from Andy Z as a regular feature.
Millions of people said enough already with the wanton murder of black and brown people. They tore down statues. They changed the whole conversation and are moving on changing the reality of white supremacy being what defines this country. And this is why you have incurred the wrath and the determination of this fascist regime to erase all that and slam people back.
That draw a deep analysis of events and where people can push on and make a positive change, and include going up against where people are already thinking and argued for them to confront barriers in their thinking or to recognize an overlooked question. We've got Pete on the street.
This is Pete on the street. Hey, this is Pete on the street. This is Pete on the street.
A segment that brings everyday people onto the show and brings together both an inside look at what people are thinking and brings a way for them to step in. All these elements have involved your contributions, from better mics, to help with sound and cameras, to help with the street reviews, powerful computers for special effects and digital animations that have helped advance the mission we are setting out to accomplish. We are in a rapidly changing situation, with fascists gaining initiative. We're in a historic struggle against fascism, and what we do now matters a lot. Imagine the impact it would have on the situation if the show grew in viewership and subscribers, reaching thousands of people all over the country and all over the world, bringing the leadership that Bob Avakian is giving, the movement that he leads, and contributing to the struggle to stop a fascist America. What you do now can make a meaningful difference in this. Join us in rising to meet these new challenges and bring forward more people to work on the fight for revolution. Become a bedrock sustainer of the show and join the RNL show team. We just rented a new studio space that needs to be built up, where we can film the show, edit, and expand the collective process needed to produce the show. This is where the need for a movement of new creatives, professional and amateurs, to join the RNL show is needed. If you want to volunteer to write for the show and help with ideas for segments, if you can edit segments and do research on world events, or help create short standalone videos, if you want to film for the show or make graphics to promote the show or contribute to the episodes, if you want to help grow the audience and help develop a strategy for how to grow the show team and reach out to others, or if you want to help fundraise or transcribe the episodes that we already have, write us an email at therevcoms@gmail.com. You can make a direct donation now at revcom.us or go to patreon.com/therevcoms and become a monthly sustainer at $25 or $50, or enter in at one of the lower tiers. And join us this Sunday for the Revolution Tour fundraising livestream on Facebook at 2 p.m. Pacific Time or 5 p.m. Eastern Time on facebook.com/therevcoms. Thank you.